Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage. How you doing, sir?
Oh, fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing well, man. So do me a favor, get that marketing thing out of the way, because I got to talk about a friend of mine who brought me a scary situation that made my skin crawl. And the reason is because if he's getting pushed, I know
Right.
there's lots of others being pushed. But do that marketing stick first, please.
Perfect. Okay. Well, again, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
Yeah, so I got a buddy of mine. Lots of my friends are in the real estate business. A lot of them are very, very successful, doing big deals. This individual is just trying to refi a property that it just came time to refinance, right? And he would have liked to refinance earlier, but the property wasn't in the condition to do it. It
Right.
is where he is, right? He would love to have refied 4 months ago when rates are lower. He can't now. So he's been working with a lender for a while, has a decent relationship near as I can tell. I don't know the lender, but his lender was pushing hard on arms, 5-year arm, this, that, the other thing.
Right.
And
They throw this, the normal statistic. Yeah, on average, people are only in their properties 5 to 7 years, or even in their loans. And okay, how far did you go back?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And oh, by the way, are people locked in? Anyways, yeah, it's
Right.
I first off, I understand why lenders are doing it.
Right.
Rates have exploded. Arms are cheaper and they're starving. So they're doing anything they can to make that payment seem somewhat more manageable. I unfortunately have a long history, and I've even done research back to the 70s. And I know that once inflation kicks off, it can be very sticky. We could have a decade where every year the 30-year mortgage is higher than the year before. I am not calling for that, but I know it is in the realm of possibilities. It may not be likely, but it is in the realm of possibilities. And that is why arms scare me. Because if you go back and look at the 1970s where you had rates at 8% and you had a 10-year arm, and your arm came due in 1980 when rates were 16%, that's going to hurt, right? Again, I'm not calling for that, but I'm saying it's within the realm of possibilities. So what I told my buddy after listening to him is, I said, first off, you know how I feel about arms? And he's like, basically, tell me again. I'm like, you're a freaking idiot if you get one. I mean, you're my friend, so I can be a little more matter of fact. You're stupid. Stop talking about him. And again, I get it. It probably will work out, but I'm worried about I don't know what it is, 10, 15, 20, 30% where it's not going to work out, because when it doesn't work out, the outcome is bad.
It is.
Arms blew up the housing market last time. I'm not getting anywhere close to arms. Only do great deals with 30-year fixed rate debt. That is where you came in, because my friend's in a situation, again, he's remodeling the property, all of that. Cash flow's a little tight the first couple of years. So I'm like, okay, first and foremost, don't do the arm or we're not friends anymore. So he got that. And I said, you know what? Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage helped me with my office and a multifamily property. I know he can help you. But I think what you are going to need is something that I didn't do because I was uncomfortable. I just did a straight 30-year mortgage on my office and my multifamily because that's what I wanted. I want fully burdened. I wanted to pay principal because it cash flowed for me already. My buddy's going to have it tight. I'm like, you know what? Stephen keeps telling me about this 10-year interest only, fully amortized 30-year loan. Right at the end of 10 years, it resets to a 20-year AM, which blows it out. I'm like, I think you got to go talk to him, because if you're really stretched on the cash flow where you're considering an arm where I keep telling you no, maybe this interest only component makes sense.
Right.
So that's why I connected you two via text, and I guess you guys have spoken. So,
Yes, sir.
so when you guys spoke, did I'm guessing you were talking about like a 5-year interest only or a 10-year interest only period, all of that?
Oh yeah, no, we here, I'll actually pull up the email, and because I go through so many, they start to kind of blend together. So apologies here.
I like real life.
So yeah. So let's see here. Send on the information. Okay. Oh, okay. So actually, it was mainly in discussion. As far as just mainly over the phone, I don't have much in the way of the email that we had kind of went over. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I mean, they were looking at two possibilities as far as that 50-40 kind of 10, setup, both on residential and on a, office building. So,
Yeah.
and I ran the interest only, numbers, with him over the phone, and
He got it.
I don't
Yeah.
know how, right. I think he got it. And so that's why he opted to fill out the applications. Like, oh, okay, how do we get started? So I
Yeah.
think I might have hit a nerve. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this
Like
kind of
this
makes
could
sense.
help. Yeah. Because again, you
Yeah.
got to get, if you're one of my students and followers, realize that I understand arms. I understand the math. I understood it. I understand there's going to be lots of people. There are lots of people that will say something like the following: the Fed is going to raise rates and then they're going to lower rates.
Right.
Yeah, probably. But when? Some people will go as far as to say the Fed's going to raise rates, they're going to lower rates this year or next year.
Right.
Maybe. You willing to, you're willing to put
Bet
your
on it.
financial future on the line with that? I think
Right.
that's, again, it might even be probable that the Fed is forced to cut rates this year or next, but that is not a certainty. I have
Right.
researched the 70s. I have seen a weak Fed pretend that inflation is not real. They don't do what's required, double dip recessions. Eventually, there's a Paul Volcker moment. I don't want my financial future disrupted by a weak Fed. So I would not get, I don't recommend. There's almost no reasons why an ARM makes sense. There's maybe, I don't know. If the ARM makes sense to you, then it makes sense. But if you're an investment property buy and hold, I don't see it.
At least not in this environment.
Yeah.
I can understand. Whereas before, the kind of strategy could work and it's not that risky. But in this kind of environment, I don't know. There's just too many, negative variables that just aren't going to point to the probable, positive outcome that they're betting on.
Yeah.
So, but hey, that's why they sometimes call it gambling.
Yeah, exactly. So again, as I told my friend, as I would tell any of my students, not a fan of ARMs, certainly not on investment properties. I do think it's possible, even I would argue probable, that the Fed is forced to cut rates in the next couple of years, certainly, because of a deep, dark recession, but I'm not willing to bet on it. I think there's a likelihood that this Fed proves to be Pollyanna and weak, and it raises rates and then stops and then is forced to raise again and stops. And who knows? I mean, go back and look at the 70s. We started with rates at 8 and ended at 18 or 16 or something stupid. I don't want that to happen to me or any of my friends or followers. So, Stephen, if somebody wanted to reach out who's getting pushed an ARM and learn more about this 10-year interest only inside a 30-year fixed product, how do they reach out?
Just email me, sdao@velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, the acronym ORAAT, body of the email, address would be great. Location as far as city and state, at the very least, your mid FICO score would also be helpful. And then the best number to reach you at, and I'll be in touch typically within 24, 48 hours.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thanks, Mike.